Hello, this is Daniel Berger again. Introducing you to the course project. This project is designed to help you discover your own voice while echoing God's voice. It is a multifaceted course project that begins with you contemplating your social situation, that of the church and the people that you serve, and those things that enable you to take God's word and put it into the current situation, and then listening about that issue. Listening by research, looking at the best things in research, and then putting it into different forms of communication. Each week, as things are due, you will get videos that help you do each part of these. This one is simply the course overview. The course, Communication Skills for Ministry. The course purpose is to create a voice that speaks truth from the heart in a manner that heals brokenness in communities. I take Proverbs 31, 8 through 10 very, very seriously. And this course is an attempt to help you speak up for the voiceless, to defend the poor and needy, to take something that is important to you and to others, and to communicate about it in an informative and persuasive manner. The course outcome is to imbue you with vivacious virtue, to change your spirit and soul, but also to give you a solid understanding and eloquent skill in oral public communication. In the words of Quintilian, I want you to become a good person speaking well. In the words of the Apostle Paul, it's to speak the truth in love. Aspects of the major assignment: passion. Plato says you should speak the truth in eros, passionate love. The Apostle Paul says to speak the truth in agape, a self-giving, serving, godlike love. You will also have to have some reason, both logical reason. You'll attempt to justify, to give information that leads to conclusions, that leads to change in action. But also narrative reason, stories of people who are involved. You're to give a purpose, a reason why influence is needed, but to gain voice, both your voice and the voiceless, as you echo God's voice. In the learning process, you are called and coached to empathetic emulation. So those are the aspects of the major assignment. So we come to the first assignment. Your first week is to justify your choice of a social issue, to choose one that you deeply care about, that you're passionate about. Provide a logical justification telling us why it is important or valuable in the social community. This is a first come, first served. So if anyone else in class chooses precisely the same thing, you are not going to be able to do the project in that issue. However, if you want to get together with the other person and cover different aspects, So dealing with the homeless, you can't cover all homelessness in one project, but you can cover housing in one particular city, and maybe another person can cover something like employment. Moving to deal with the underlying aspects of homelessness. Human trafficking. You can't solve human trafficking in the whole world in one single issue. But can you address health care for them in a given state? Can you address who's responsible? Yes. So you can get 3 or 4 students all working on an individual issue, but different aspects of the different issue and different locales. So justifying the choice, there's an entire video helping you to come up with that assignment. We also move directly into an annotated bibliography. Listening to others who have a legitimate voice in your social issue into the ability to form your voice. You will have some kind of beginning position, but you need to move from there to a well-informed position. Then, after doing that, we have several short worksheets to help you consider your perspective. What are your foundational beliefs, values, and lifestyles? And what are those of an opposition? Someone who disagrees with you, but has a legitimate voice. The opposition to homelessness is not everybody should be homeless. The opposition to something is not necessarily advocating for it. The opposition to things such as pornography does not have to be we should have all literature and all people available for pornographic elements. No, have a legitimate opposition. The opposition to human trafficking isn't let's let people create slaves. So what is a legitimate opposition is a very important part, and we'll give you more help with that when it comes time. Stasis worksheet. Stasis has several different definitions in the area of rhetoric, Christian communication. Stasis is the point of decision. And the book covers that fairly well, plus you'll have a video on it and other help to say, where did you make your decision on this issue? And what are the likely points that your audience will need for making their decision? Truth and voice worksheet comes after that. Okay, what truth do you see? There are different kinds of truth. Absolute truth that does not change. There's absolute truth in this world. If you haven't discovered that, it's time you come to know. But there's also relative truth, things that are different for different people. And if you haven't discovered that, it's time for you to discover the fullness of truth. But there's some coherence between thought and reality. And there's also some deconstructive elements, the power, experience, and belief. So what truth do you see in your issue? Where is God's truth and God's voice on the issue? And finally, what's the beginning of your voice? We come then to an informative speech in the middle of the course. You create exigence, the need for the audience to sit on the edge of their seat and hear more. You need to demonstrate informative literacy by using multiple forms of evidence, providing the best evidence for two sides, and citing that evidence in the speech, enabling us to know the truth and understand implications. The bottom line of information literacy is to create wonder and curiosity in the audience. And then social media posts. You'll have 2 posts in order to reach the opposition, not just those who agree with you. And then tell a story based on an interview. Find another real person who's engaged in the social issue, and then tell their story. And finally, a persuasive sermon, clearly advocating for one position. Tell us how you've changed in the last 9 or 10 weeks, and convince us that we should change. And this is by far the best if it heals brokenness in the community. Excellence is not easy, but it is a habit. A clarifying essay is your final exam. It's open book, open notes. Take all the written, spoken elements of the course, along with the course purpose, outcome, and virtues, and write what's intentionally done well, giving full citations of specific readings, materials, and videos. We will give you help with each part of this through an informative video. It's written out in your course materials, and I trust that you will learn much in forming your voice about a social issue as it echoes God's voice through His Word.